I will be your host for the next half hour. Stay tuned in. Now, we begin with today's trending political story, the voter registration exercise. Let's start here in Accra from the Ayawaso East constituency, where our cameras captured some chaotic scenes.
This one I disagree with you. I won't tolerate it. They see and say, NIA director in charge of registration or Ayawaso East I see a binum put an NIA card which has an indication on the card that they are not Ghanaians and that they shouldn't be allowed to register. And we were questioning him that if really they are not Ghanaian, why did NIA allow them to register? And why didn't NIA seize their card at the office and allow the card to be given to them? And we are here creating scene and tension that they shouldn't be allowed to register. That is all.
So the man is a former NIA officer and he's trying to educate public concerning the NIA. There was a mistake during registration. Some people have been given a foreign citizenship, which the NIA itself has told them to go to the office to ratify, and most did not do that. And he's here explaining it again, and he's creating suspicion because there's a tension here already. He shouldn't have said it. It should remain mute for the registration officer to determine whenever they are registering the person to know if the person is Malay, they will register him. The person will go to NIA office to ratify, they later register. On the second issue, you can see the polling station. There is no electricity. In 2 hours, they cannot register. They started registration for more than 2 hours now. Ask how many people have been registered. It's not more than 10. When the sun pop up around, the operator of the computer cannot work again. This is what we are fighting for. The EC is supposed to give all these things. They don't have tents. They don't have electricity. So what is going to happen? There's going to be, and many Ghanaians will not register. This polling station has been registered for more than, there are more than 1,000 registrants here. And they said they are going to register 100 people.
Now, the exercise in the Ododo-Dio constituency, Maxwell Agbagba reports, delayed 5 hours because of disagreements between EC registration officials and representatives of the political parties. Social distancing and all COVID-19 protocols were disregarded as persons who had come to register stood in long, winding queues, some of them without masks.
This is outside the main precincts of the registration center. So you can see people lined up, here in close proximity at this place, and we are told that they'll be made to wash their hands before they get inside. But because the registration itself delayed, that setup has not been done yet, and as you can see, some of the persons who are standing very close to each other are not wearing masks here. There is a man with a megaphone screaming and asking these people who have come here to register to ensure social distancing. But it looks like
social distance and they are here. Social distance.
Yeah, so trying to advise those who have come here to register to ensure the social distancing, but that is not happening. Few of the people we've seen here are wearing masks. In fact, earlier there were many of them who were not wearing masks, but some security personnel were deployed here after the disagreement, and when they came, they told them that if they do not wear their mask, they are not going to allow them to do the registration. So many of them had to go to their homes to get their mask and bring them before joining the queue. But for that, they wouldn't have been allowed, to join the queue. Behind me are the registration materials ready to be deployed. I've been speaking to the commander of the Ministry's police station, Chief Superintendent Asebunzo. He was in that meeting trying to resolve the disagreement between the political parties. He says they are ready and alert to call any violence that may erupt here.
The discussion had to do with some confusion that arose as a result of the review of the registration centers by the Electoral Commission. I think it was a bit different from what had been gazetted, and so it created a bit of confusion. But then after the meeting, it has been resolved. All the stakeholders have really understood what has happened, and they've all given the green light for the registration to start. We have had enough deployment of personnel here. As you can see, there are others that you can't see, and we hope that will be enough to contain any issue that may crop up. But we are hoping we have done a lot of education and sensitization, and we hope it will work. We are not expecting any trouble today, but if it does arise, we are ready to handle it.
I have also been speaking to the NPP constituency chairman, Sat Raymond Tete. He was also part of that meeting and has been talking to me about what caused the delay in the registration in this constituency.
This is a gazetted centers scheduled for the registration. Yesterday, when my party representatives came to the DIPAC meeting, we realized that the Electoral Commission is using centers different from the gazetted ones. Yesterday, my people pushed at the DIPAC meeting that the gazetted one should be used, but I think it was not agreed to. So we petitioned the EC chairperson and all the stakeholders involved. And this morning, the EC officer called for a meeting, which the EC is there, the security agency were also there, and the various political parties within the constituency. And we have all agreed that if something has been gazetted, it has become law. So you can't do contrary to something that is law. So even if the EC is having a challenge, and it's not going to open all the 38 centers gazetted in the first phase, then it will select the 90 that it's going to do from the gazetted ones and go and start. So that is the conclusion that we came. So now they've agreed, and they've measured the 19 that they are going to do this morning from the gazetted one. And I think that is enough for us, because all that we wanted is that the gazetted ones should be used and not any other thing.
I've also been speaking to the PPP parliamentary candidate for this area. He's equally concerned.
The review one is not only about the district called Ashedu Keteke, but it's national. But we are saying that you cannot use something which is not gazetted, because we all know the electoral process, and we know where is qualified for registration should be taking place. And we have also gone ahead and educate our people So going back within less than 24 hours to make them know this whole change, it will be something else. So let's stick to the whole.
But what's causing the change? Why do you want to change?
Okay, the change is that there is a gazetted one. So why do you want to change?
What reason did they give you?
The reason they give us is that they don't have all the machines to all the 38 registration centers that have been stated within the gazetted version.
Let's go over to Nana Sensu Mensah in the Asawase constituency in the Ashanti region. Now, he reports social distancing has been ignored at Akwitia Line. He's also been speaking to the MCE of Asawase, who has been fighting back claims the ruling party is busing people to the constituency in the ongoing registration exercise. We'll listen to Ali Duseidu shortly, but first, this is what MP for the area, Muntaka Mubarak, said.
Mr. Mubarak also accuses the Electoral Commission of creating what he describes as ambiguous polling stations on the periphery of the constituency to promote infiltration agenda. Alhaji Mubarak addressed the press conference in Kumasi.
Look, if you look at our constituency, until just this exercise started, they have created about 8 more polling stations that we were not aware of. Until the day for yesterday, when we went to a meeting, and then they told us. And interestingly, they placed all these ones at the boundaries. So, for example, if you go to Sawaba, around the affordable housing, that is the boundary between us and Oforukrum. You go and place one there. If you go to Bola Bola, they go and place one around Mamazoro. That's also a boundary line between us and Oforukrum. And just like that, across the constituency.
The Asawase MP warns the voter registration exercise will be vigilantly guarded to ensure only residents of Asawase are enrolled.
Clearly, you see that they are doing this to enhance cross-boundary activity. For us, we have a simple message. This is our territory. We will do everything to protect it.
Now, Ali Duseidu is accusing the Minority Chief Whip of an attempt to frustrate the registration exercises in the constituency and is threatening to hold him responsible should there be any eventuality. Now, we'll soon be speaking to Nana Sensu Mensah, who has joined us via Zoom. Now, Nana, you have been speaking to Dr. Ernest Kwako about the protocols. What has he been saying?
Daniel, Dr. Ernest Kwako is leader of the KMA COVID-19 team, and he's been saying that throughout his rounds, he has seen children under 5 years blatantly regarding the social distancing protocol and standing in the stead of the parents and also queuing for the parents. Let's listen to what he said.
Generally, registration has been going on smoothly. I say generally because there are a few observations that we've made. One of them as regards COVID-19 prevention protocols. I take particular interest in that. You will see that, for example, the registration cluster center where we are now, you find that some adults, or let me say parents, as their children, very small children, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, to come and join the queue in their stead, so that when they are ready and it gets to their turn, they come and register.
Now, Nana, how many people have been registered so far?
So far, I'm currently at the Malaga Registration Center, and as at 1:20 p.m., 66 people or applicants have been enrolled into the new voter register over here. At other centers, the devices or the machines or the laptops were developing some faults. So as at the time we got there around 11 p.m., just like 20 or 25 people had been registered. But over here, everything is smooth. And then I also asked them that if they've been able to fill any challenge form. No challenge form has been filled. And largely, all the applicants are being registered with the NIA cards over here.
Thank you very much.
There is a peaceful atmosphere here at Asawase.
Thank you very much, Nana. We'll come back to you later in the day for more reports. Isaac Nonya is our correspondent in the Savannah region, and he reports that as the Krabaso polling station or registration center, residents were forcing their way into long queues, disregarding all safety protocols. Registration started at that registration center a little after 8 a.m. due to miscommunication between school management as a Krabaso JHS and electoral officers over venue and furniture for the exercise. Now, Peter Senu is our man in the OT region. He reports of rainfall in the Nkwanta South municipality that has affected the registration process. Peter, I understand the rainfall did not help this morning.
Yes, that is it, Daniel. It's been raining here in the region since last night into this morning. And so I am back from the Nkwanta South municipality. I went there. Most of the registration centers are sent to the hinterlands. And so we couldn't cover anything because there was heavy downpour. But I'm back to the KJB district where registration is. I'm currently ongoing here at the Church of Pentecost registration center. We have 2 centers here, and about 50 people have been registered so far here at the Church of Pentecost registration center.
Right. Now, Peter, tell us about the schools that are being used as registration centers. Do you have any in the Nkwanta South municipality, and how are they balancing, receiving the students and going ahead with the registration?
Well, here in the KJB district, because of the cluster system, there is no school being used as a registration center. This is the Church of Pentecost, and so it is obviously not a school facility. And so all the schools are out of the registration exercise this time. I can report from where I am currently.
Right. Now, Peter, I need you to make some emphasis for me, because yesterday we heard the head of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, states clearly that in places where they will go to churches and schools, they will not be having the registration indoors because of social distancing and the need for free circulation of air. She also stated that they will be using furniture that is provided by the Electoral Commission and not by the churches. Clearly, that is not what happened in the Church of Pentecost as KJB.
Yes. Well, the plastic chairs I can see around here, we can see maybe somewhat congestion in the room because of the bad weather here. It's drizzling on and off, and for sure we cannot keep the machines and then the people outside. And so it will create a great inconvenience. That is how come you can see that chairs are on the veranda here for people to sit on, and then inside it's been arranged, people are in queue. Though not much of a social distancing, but it's just for the sake of the weather, Daniel.
Thanks, Peter. Let's turn our attention to the Chief Executive of the National Identification Authority, or should I say the Executive Secretary, Professor Ken Atefa, who has assured of issuing ID cards to every eligible voter to enable them write their names in the ongoing voter registration exercise. He urges people who have changed their residences after registration to go back to where they registered and pick up their cards. Prof. Atefa spoke to Kojo Yankson on the Super Morning Show on Joy FM.
During the exercise, what we found, twofold concerns. One, in the case of Ashanti region, for example, when we were doing the registration in Ashanti, it was Christmas season. So a lot of people had gone from Accra or wherever they were living to their hometowns in Ashanti region and had gone to register, taking advantage of low numbers there. Now they are in Accra, and the cards have been sent to the communities where you registered, and they could not go there. I had a situation, a report from Winneba, where it's a university town, largely an academic city. Cape Coast, same. So lots of students, Koporibia, lots of students who registered in, and teachers, university teachers and stuff, who registered in Cape Coast and Koporibia and these cities, whenever they could not get their cards. And they are in their communities. Now, for those who will be there by the time the Electoral Commission gets to their community. The issuance will be done there because we'll be there. Right, there's a timetable that we have published about a mop-up exercise. As I speak with you, a mop-up of the mass registration exercise is underway in the Upper West and Upper East regions in order to shore up the numbers because we realized that registration figures were low. Now, all across the country, we're going to do mass registration mop-up. For most of those places, I think excluding Bono, Ahafo, and Bono East, and then Greater Accra and Ashanti, just about 2 or 3 days. For all the other regions, EC will be there, or NIA will be there, while EC registration is also there. So people can pick up their cars and do the need.
This is the election brief here on Joy News with me, Daniel Dadin. Our Member of Parliament for Adansi Asokwa, Katie Hammond, has described as nonsense calls for him to apologize over comments the opposition NDC criticized as ethnocentric. In a video that has since gone viral, the MP justified the military deployments to the Volta region, a stronghold of the opposition NDC. His comment has infuriated natives of the region and the opposition party who are demanding an apology and retraction. But in an interview with Joy News, the MP says he will not apologize, claiming there's an agenda against him.
Reference was to people in the Volta region who were not entitled to vote in the elections of Ghana. It's not just Volta region, it's like any other country who are not citizens of Ghana. Our elections are meant for people who are Ghanaians. But thanks to Joy FM and thanks to whatever political agenda, I don't know what it is, but clearly there is some agenda by your institution. Somehow you decided to cause me serious political difficulties, social difficulties. And
I can assure you that we do not have any agenda against you in person.
No, you may not. You are not the person who came in there.
Exactly.
Number one, you are not the editor. So, in effect, you become, I guess, a ventriloquist also for the institution. I'm not attacking you. You can't defend them. You didn't put it out there.
Because I work for the institution, I know that we do not have any agenda against.
You don't know the level at which play at your level. Don't box at a level that you don't qualify. You do not know what actuated those people who put that one out there. They clearly would have actuated by some malice. I mean, I come for the life of me. Imagine that any institution worthy of its name, like Joy FM, Joy FM, would sit down and then put out a message as dangerous as this, as ethnocentric as this. What was it meant to? What was it calculated to achieve? If it was not to damage me and in the process consume the whole country in something quite abominable. I don't understand. But if it's a clarification,
do you then regret making those statements?
Nonsense. What do you mean by, you see, you are compounding the situation by this question you just asked. Why do I regret when I was stating a fact? I was stating a fact to the fact that the people from Togolese are not Ghanaians, unless of course you have some definition of Togolese which means Ghana. I don't know.
But one will also argue that yes, you made the point that during the first round, we are talking about 2008 elections.
You see, but that is no. That's not it. I mean, those things. If I say those things and factually I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's politics. You say this, you are wrong about that.
Now, Professor Emmanuel Bombandi, who is with the West African Network for Peace Building, says there is no evidence of agenda, and Mr. Hammond has no one to blame but himself.
We can spend all the time talking about what I call the smaller, insignificant issues. So I'm inviting us to think about the bigger picture. For example, if you look at Honorable Katie Hammond, Joy FM is never the problem. And I want to be the advocate for journalists to have the courage to do their work. His voice clip was heard across the nation. So he must be accountable to himself. And nobody needs to ask him to be accountable to the people of Ghana. If he chooses not to be accountable, it is not the media he should blame for creating a problem for him. And that is why, at this time leading into December, the individual responsibility to hold ourselves accountable and have the integrity and honesty to be people who want to lead and to serve matters more than what you see happening that is pervasive and beginning to create anxiety.
And that will be your election brief for today. For more political news, log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Daniel Dazi. Have a good day.